Students and educators from around the world are about to descend on Banff as Canada plays host to a key conference of the National Model United Nations, an opportunity for delegates to develop diplomacy skills through realistic simulations of UN procedures. And joining us now, Ashlee Rolheiser, Secretary General for the conference and an alum of MacEwan University, which of course is hosting this huge 6-day event. Ashlee, good to see you again. It's been a couple of years.
Thanks
Welcome
for having
back.
me. Yeah.
All right. Well, how unique is it to bring a conference like this to Canada? Because doesn't stuff like this normally happen at the UN in New York?
Right, exactly. It feels honestly surreal to be having it here. We're actually hosting it on Treaty 7 territory. So for us, it's incredible that we can kind of move it from MacEwan and the busyness of an urban setting over into the mountains. Really remarkable stuff.
And we touched on it a little bit there in the intro, but what does this experience afford participants? What's drawing these young students to Alberta?
I think it's really the mission of National Model United Nations itself in experiencing good global citizenship. These are a lot of students who see problems in the world and they want to fix them. Giving them kind of the stage to be able to do that and having dialogue, pursuing negotiation. This is definitely what they'll experience in Banff, and we're really excited to facilitate it.
Are these like future politicians, future diplomats?
Future everything.
Or is it across the board?
Yeah, I think it's across the board. We have future law students. We have politicians, absolutely. But then there are like nurses and students pursuing medical degrees. And I think that it's just a variety of students who really see that there's a lot to tackle in the world, but they want to be engaged and they want to model this good global citizenship.
So is it like being, like you're there representing a country and you've been dropped right into the UN and you're doing UN stuff?
Exactly, that's exactly it, Michael. So every single school is assigned a member state. So that happened about 6 months ago. They were assigned Canada, for example.
But they don't necessarily have to be from Canada?
No, not at all, not at all. And so they'll be representing Canada. They've spent the past 6 months researching Canada's policies. We have 4 different committees: the United Nations Environment Assembly, the Human Rights Council, United Nations Development Program, and then UNESCO. And all 4 committees are tackling different topics. So delegates will come and present basically all of the research that they've done over the past 6 months.
To what degree are you talking about very newsworthy items that are in front of the UN right now?
Yes.
Notably, a peace plan for Ukraine is
there's a lot to
discuss.
There's always a lot to discuss, for sure. And I think especially when, you know, you're assigned a country who might be more in the headlines at the moment, it's important to stay on top of your policy research. And delegates know when they're assigned maybe a more challenging country, but they're always ready to have those conversations. And that's really why it's important to have an open mind to this outcome of negotiation.
And these are strained times.
Yes.
Right now, even when you consider the Canada-U.S. dynamic, how do the participants navigate that?
Honestly, it's been very interesting, especially from a planning standpoint. You know, I think from a delegate perspective, it's interesting because Canada and the U.S. typically are in the same working blocks usually. But from a planning perspective, our partner institution, National Model United Nations, they're a U.S.-based organization. So we've had to deal with currency exchange and, you know, differences with tariffs and all the discussions happening across the border. But honestly, we remain hopeful. And I think as long as people are open for dialogue and we're open to the idea of moving forward with our relationship and, you know, building, I think that's the main point.
Let's bring it closer to home.
Yeah.
The significance of hosting this in Banff.
Yes.
Hosting this in Alberta.
Yeah. This is huge for us. I think it's been a long time coming. We've been planning this conference for 3 years. And every year, National Model United Nations, they plan a conference in a rotating international location. Last year it was in the Galapagos Islands. Next year it'll be in Barcelona, Spain. So to have it right here in Alberta, where so much is happening on the global stage, I think it's truly significant, and we're honored to be hosting here.
The Indigenous element, you mentioned it off the top, how significant a role Indigenous perspective, Indigenous culture, the fact that it's here in Alberta.
Yeah, huge, definitely. I think MacEwan, as our host organization, they have really embraced the culture of indigeneity and how important it is to include Truth and Reconciliation and the calls to action within what they do. And we've really tried to model that within our own planning committees. So we do have Indigenous voices at the table in all of our subcommittees and in our main planning committee as well. There will be elders and knowledge keepers coming to assist with some of the delegate activities, and an elder giving an opening and closing blessing as well. So it's very important to us that we're really aligned with the messaging of reciprocity and authenticity and inclusion.
Last time we spoke, and you're reminding me of this before we started, but it was 6 years ago.
Yes.
You were still a student at MacEwan, but you had just come back from a Model UN project in Ukraine, if memory serves. So, 6 years later, you're still involved in this organization. What's keeping you so engaged?
I think it's just right now, I'm able to see myself in a lot of the delegates. I remember joining as a delegate at the Model United Nations Club at MacEwan and seeing this entire world open up in front of me. I love having political conversations. I love, being able to negotiate and have that final outcome where everybody at the table is really proud of what they produced. So now that I've graduated, I have continued on my journey with NMUN, and from a staff perspective, it's incredible to see that passion from delegates that I had not too long ago, and it's really driven me in my professional and in my academic life. So I'm really honored to be here serving as Secretary General, and truly the past 3 years has been such a learning experience for me.
And a real feather in the hat for MacEwan as well, as you pointed out, many years in the making.
Yeah, absolutely. And I do think that it really aligns with MacEwan's mission of transformative education. They really are hands-on with their students, and I think it really speaks to it that I'm still so involved many years later. And the Canada-Ukraine project that we had spoken on back in 2019, that's still up and running. We had just come back and spoken about our delivery of Model United Nations Rules of Procedure to 2 schools. And now it's up to 12 schools, and they're self-running. We're no longer teaching them. They're self-sufficient. And that's really what we see as an outcome of these projects.
Speaks to the value of the program.
Yes.
Ashlee, good to see you again, 6
Thank you
years
so
later.
much.
Thanks kindly, and hope all goes well next week in Banff.
Thanks for having me.